Handouts. What's the best way to hand them out? Should I?
You can, let's see, let's ask one of my students. Chris? And then you just can hand them him, and then he can put them down the aisle. Yeah. She has some handouts she's gonna need to give out, but I don't know when she wants to do them, when I call you up there.
Anytime.
And so you can just count how many people are in the row and just pass them
Thingy
down.
on top. There should be enough for everybody.
Yeah,
Good enough?
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Pass them now. You can do it now, while I'm talking.
You have time to look it over? Are you starting right now this second?
All right, if everyone would take a seat, we're ready to start. We have the agenda went out electronically. I need to have your attention, please. I was going to bring my bell, but I forgot it. Okay, so I will read the agenda so you know what's going on. We're starting right now, and then we have minutes of the March meeting. We have treasurer's report. We have law enforcement here tonight in full. So there'll be a San Jose Police report, a sheriff's report, and a California Highway Patrol report. And then we start with our guest for the night, CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. So we want to give them a full half hour to be able to make their presentation, and if you have questions, they can answer it as we go along. The last part of the evening will be the elected officials. Any elected officials that are here that would like to make a couple of announcements or fill us in on anything new that's going on, I will call on them. And then I'll make the announcements that are just the temporary announcements or usual announcements. And we are ready to go. This is what the bulletin looked like, in case you didn't get to see it. April showers bring May flowers, or else they destroy the rose bushes that have beautiful flowers on them already and blows them all over the place. All right, so Ty did minutes. He didn't. Yes. I knew you were going to say that. So if you want to go to our website when you get home, you can see the minutes and the agenda are both that goes out, and they went out even earlier this time. They went out a few days ahead, the one I usually do it. All right, treasurer's report.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Susan, and I'm going to provide the treasurer's report for the month of March 2026. So our beginning balance March 1st was $490.41. We received $10 in membership dues. The ending balance on March 31st was $500.41. We have a City of San Jose District 4 grant. The beginning balance March 1st was $3,098.40. We had an expense of plaques for the Bob Gross Pond project. That was $465. The ending balance March 31st was $2,633.40. We have a District 3 urgent grant. The balance on that is $2,381.41. Then the Beautify San Jose Grant Cycle 7, which is ready to be closed at the end of this month. March 31st, the balance was $55.03. So I'm the treasurer, and I will gladly take any dues that people would like to pay, even though it's already April. It's $10 for the year. You don't have to pay to be here, but it helps to support the meetings and the coffee and the little projects that we do, and it's much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. What did I do? All right. Ooh. First up for the law enforcement is the San Jose Police report with Officer Critchfield. Am I close with that name?
Hello, everybody. I'm Officer Critchfield of the San Jose Police Department. I've been here a couple of times. I didn't bring anything prepared, so if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. If I don't have an answer, I'll make sure to circle back with you the next time. Are there any questions? Sir?
Thank you for your service.
Honestly, I love hearing that too, but we're nobody without you guys, so if there's anything of concern or anything that we could address, please let us know.
Do you have any idea in our area, if there is an increase in crime?
I'm not aware about the statistics specifically, but I will find that out. I know that we did have a call for service for the Sierra Road regarding RVs that are parked out there. We did address that at one point within the last 3 months, and I do know that they're back. And I'm not sure who mentioned that last time, but we will be enforcing that as soon as we can.
What about the church right now? St. Victor, the one that's over there?
I think that might be, that's not Sierra Road, right? St. Victor's is down. Okay, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep, I know exactly, that's exactly what we're talking about. We'll be addressing that. They came back. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
As far as contacts and community involvement, how can we make your job easier?
Well, like I stated before, the police department is nothing without the call for service. So if there's anything that you guys are concerned about, or feel free to ask, and that's how you can help us bring crime down. About statistically 90% of police work is calls for service. Anybody else?
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So, just because I was watching the CHP Academy, they just swore in 133 new CHP officers on Friday, right? Congratulations. How many SAPD officers are sworn in annually, do you think, roughly? Do you have that?
It's definitely not that number, but I wouldn't be able to tell you specifically. I know we just had an academy that graduated and is into our field training program, but I don't have those exact numbers. If you'd like, I can meet afterwards. I'll dot your name down, and I'll make sure to have an answer for you next time. Yeah. Anybody else? Well, thank you for your time. Back to Linda.
Being here, we appreciate you. All right. Okay, and the sheriff report, Lieutenant Tyler Fernandez. Oh my gosh, I made up your name. Tyler Fernandez.
All right, thank you. I don't have much for you guys, but I pulled our stats from March 1st to current. We had about 45 calls for service in the area with some logged patrol checks in and around your guys' jurisdiction. Primarily the calls for people trespassing, speeding, and such. And we had one theft, I believe, of like a power washer, but nothing necessarily huge to note of in your guys' area. I am your guys' watch commander, so I oversee the shifts that are Saturday, Sunday, and Monday nights. So if you guys have any questions, concerns, I know getting some more patrol checks up in the Sierra area. I'll talk to the beat deputy today to make sure that they're getting up there for people doing sideshows and racing around. So that's something that we want to get ahead of. So we'll get up there early and try to make sure we're making that a priority. Does anybody have any questions?
Are you already working with SAPD and Highway Patrol for the Upper Sierra for New Year?
Yes. Yeah, we're all in communication with each other regarding all of that, yeah.
You mentioned sideshows, that triggered a thought in me. I haven't heard anything about sideshows in months. Is that because of enforcement or something?
There, in your guys' particular area, I mean, racing is probably the most prevalent thing, and not like large groups that are doing the spinouts and stuff, but it does happen weekly throughout the county. Most recently, we've had a lot of issues with our VTA parking lots at night, because they're big areas, they can meet up, and then they'll start there, and then they'll take off and do what they gotta do. But it's pretty much weekly that we're kind of heading out. I know San Jose's got a bunch of them too. But not necessarily in your guys' jurisdiction, but you guys will get a lot of people going up there and street racing and dumping off stolen vehicles and such.
A question, I'm sure it's been addressed here already, but what happens when you encounter these street sections going on? Do you arrest them? Do you just shoot them away? Do you impound the cars? What do you do?
It's a balance, right? Because we're usually outnumbered pretty quick. So you're trying to kind of get them to disperse, but then address any on-view criminal activity that's occurring. A lot of it is like vandalism, that kind of stuff that's kind of going on. But we will enforce traffic violations if we're able to on-view them in our presence. So we'll tow vehicles and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's trying to kind of get them apart from each other so they're not hitting anything or hitting somebody or doing something. Anything else? All right, you guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sir, for being here tonight.
Oops. And from the California Highway Patrol, Officer Galindo.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me here. First and foremost, I want to make sure, did everybody get a handout? All right. So my name and badge number are on there. I'm a little bit old school. I like hard copy, and I like pieces of paper, and I like things that I can pin up somewhere. So I wanted to make sure everybody got all of this information. And Captain Bradford, who couldn't be here tonight, wanted me to make sure that you all had our email for traffic complaints that happen in our jurisdiction. And it really should say CHP San Jose jurisdiction, because this isn't a state email. This is for our local area. This 340 traffic complaints, that's monitored by the COPS team, our community outreach policing services, which includes myself and then Officer Ruiz. If you were here at the last meeting, he was here for that. He couldn't be here tonight. But if you have anything to report on that, you can, call the office, let us know. You can reach out to us directly through that email for the traffic complaints. But also, there's a lot of other information I wanted to put on here because I think, oh, well, I want to communicate this information. What else can I give to you? So we have our senior volunteer program that's in the top panel here. We're always looking for volunteers. We also have our youth drivers program, which is in the center, our Start Smart. One thing that's not on here is we also have a class similar to the Start Smart class, Age Well Drive Smart, for more seasoned drivers. That includes, information for self-assessment and things that change as you get older when you're driving. But those are other resources that we have. And if you have questions about that, our contact information is at the bottom of this sheet for the 340 the 340 cops at chp.ca.gov. So we're always looking for opportunities to make positive contacts with the community. With that being said, if anyone has any upcoming events, if your community has any upcoming events, let us know, send us an email, call the office, get in touch with me, and we want to have a presence. I'm always on the lookout for those kinds of opportunities, and I'm kind of taking the head on that. Yes, sir.
There's a various art wine festival that is occurring May 9th.
Uh-huh.
We reached out to, I believe we reached out to the California Highway Patrol, but if I haven't, it would be a wonderful opportunity to engage with the community.
Yes, absolutely.
I can give you my contact information.
We will connect before I skedaddle out of here. Fabulous, yes, 100%. Anything else before I, yes, sir.
Another event on the 27th of June, Cataldi Park Festival.
What was it, the what park festival? Cataldi? And I'll get the contact info before I leave? Very good, no, thank you. Again, I'm constantly finding out about events either last minute and trying to put things together, so thank you for that. But again, we're always looking for positive opportunities. Yes, sir, in the back.
And the Assemblyman will be here next month. There will be a candidate forum with the candidates, so of 8024. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. Okay. So I've covered everything that's on this sheet. This is also my little scam to get more people to know more about us, and maybe you're not interested in becoming a cop, but maybe you know somebody who is. I was formerly, I'll get to you in 1 second, I was formerly part of Golden Gate Division's recruitment unit, and I can't turn it off, so I'm constantly trying to find qualified applicants and talk to people who might be interested in law enforcement. And this information here is a good summary of our pay and benefits, the minimum requirements, this bar here, this gray bar in the center here, is the flow chart of our hiring process, and it's a process. It's probably, at the very least, about 6 months long, and that's if everything goes right, but it can go on. When I was applying way long time ago, it took me over a year to get through the entire process, but that's, people don't know, and so I want to make sure to put that out front. In the very center where it says cadets, does anyone know that we have a YouTube series? So CHP has a series on YouTube, and we have a channel on YouTube, and we have a series called Cadets. It follows a group of our cadets through the academy. It's 26 weeks long. You get to see what our academy is like and what we have to do to wear this uniform. The filming was done, it's a little older because it was done during COVID time, so in the series they're wearing masks. They don't do that anymore, but all of us current officers were a little bit surprised at how much information was put out to the public. Of course, we didn't put everything out there, but a lot more than we were expecting got put out there. So it gives a good insight of what the academy is like. And having said that, don't let that scare you, or don't let that scare the people who might be interested, because the academy lays the foundation for officers. So it's a prep, it's a step-by-step process. But again, there's a ton of information on here. CHP has so much more going on than what most people know. We're not just, what I used to think before I was an officer, we're not just driving around giving out tickets. I used to think that very ignorantly, but there's a whole giant paragraph here of the tiniest little font, my apologies, of things that we do outside of that, things that we do as the state police, right? We are in charge of the governor's security detail. We have an air ops unit. We have helicopters and airplanes, a lot of different things that we do. So in any case, it's kind of summed up pretty well right here with contact information. If you or someone you know has questions, please feel free to share that. On the back is information for if someone is in the service, in the military, or they're thinking about doing the military, you can complete a career in the military and then become a CHP officer after that, and that's what this is about. But if you have any questions at all, my contact info is down at the bottom on each side, and then it's a little bit of everywhere, but it's also on this sheet too. But in any case, one of the things that Captain Bradford wanted me to make sure to mention today, other than all that stuff, is that he had gotten a traffic complaint regarding the northbound 680 at Berryessa with some encampments going on there. And actually, he went through there this morning and made contact with a couple of pedestrians out there and was able to talk to them, give a couple verbal warnings, and just that's the best we can do at this time. It's a step-by-step process when it comes to those kinds of contacts. So, the shoulder of the freeway is state property, and so we have to let them know, make contact, and advise them that they're trespassing and give them a verbal warning, and then we can escalate from there. But that happened just this morning. So I know Captain Bradford got an email directly from you all about that, and so he responded and took some action there. If you have anything else, please feel free to let us know through the 340 traffic complaints. But that's the main thing that he had mentioned today, that's just in from this morning. You had a question, ma'am?
So actually, just a comment. Thank you to you as well as to our San Jose PD. I'm Dr. Fuentes, the superintendent of Berryessa Union. We just recently had our middle school career days, and you both brought out teams to all of our schools to share about those careers and opportunities.
Yes,
So
yes.
just wanted to thank you for being engaged with our students.
Oh, thank you. Yes, that was just a great thing that we saw you at, what was it? We saw you at Sierra Mount, right? Yes, so just happened to be. So yeah, if anyone knows anything about career fairs or anything at all, we love to make those positive contacts and just do more education and let people know, because they don't know what they don't know. Thank you, thank you. Do we have anything else? No, I took more time than I wanted to. My apologies, but thank you very much.
Thank you. We're right on time. All right. Now, our Community Emergency Response Team is going to make a presentation. Lee Steckmest is here someplace. Oh, there he is.
Good evening. Good evening. Let me make sure I was clear of that. I'm here tonight, and I'm not going to stand at the podium with a microphone. I hope you can hear me all right. We have people on Zoom. So
Oh, I was not aware of that. Okay, fine. It's hard to tie me down, I can promise you. I'm here to really talk tonight about what goes on in the world of emergency management and the world of what's going on. Pardon me?
Stand out here.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Can we get my thing on the screen? Oh, there we go. Good. To talk about how to avoid a crisis. Because we live in a part of the state where we have lots of different things that can and will go wrong. I mean, who can remember the latest big earthquake we had? Well, let's go about 2 weeks ago over in the Santa Cruz Mountains, a 4.6. Now, probably you didn't feel it, but your alarms went off if it's like my house. My wife wakes up and goes, "What's going on?" I say, "Well, it's not here. We're good." But the whole idea is we had the alarm systems, and we'll talk about that as we get into this a little bit later on. The most important thing is we want to be thinking about being prepared. You don't have to be prepared. You can ignore it. It's your choice. But like everything else in life, you probably buy insurance on your property. You probably buy insurance on your car. You probably buy insurance on your life, possibly. You buy health insurance. Why not consider disaster preparedness insurance, which is free, absolutely free. Now, what was the last big crisis we had? I mean, really big crisis here. Well, that was a long time ago. My house was 6 miles from the epicenter of Loma Prieta. We had water splash out of a second-story toilet. Now think about the moment of energy it takes to do that. I'll tell you, my family did everything wrong. I came home, my wife was standing on the dining room table holding the chandelier, and I'm going, but after being married for a while, you know not to say certain things, and I didn't.
Flooding of Guadalupe?
Guadalupe flooded in 2017, but even more current than that. COVID, good guess. And what did you notice during COVID more than anything else? More than anything else that you didn't expect?
Price of masks.
math. I have math.
Did you notice how the supply of this ingredient disappeared so quickly? Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to happen again. Not just on toilet paper, it could be something else. So I use this as an example to get your attention that this is real. It's not sort of make-believe because, well, as an example, I bet you all store more toilet paper in your house than you ever have before. But what is it next time? Next time, because you don't realize what a fragile environment we live in here. I mean, I had meetings over in Modesto this week. I had meetings over in Modesto this week, and I was nice that the trucks over Altamont Pass gave me a little bit of room to get on the road. I mean, the number of semis going back and forth is just staggering, so we'll get into that. Let's see, I should go this way. No, it's You know these little technologies that need on-off switches? Got it. If there was a major wildfire near your house, and in this part of San Jose, that's a real possibility, and one of these individuals in a blue, brown, or gray uniform comes knocking on your door at 2 o'clock in the morning, what would you do? What could you do? And they said, you got 5 minutes to evacuate. Are you ready? So that's the challenge. That's the challenge more than anything else. Because if you look at this map of the city of San Jose and you can see where you are, you're now in what's called a special district when it comes to fire prevention. I also am in a special district. I'm at the other end of San Jose. And that means, among other things, your fire insurance just went up. Your homeowner's insurance just went up. Now my house is right on a line. So I talked to my insurance company. They said, well, you've been with us for almost 60 years, so we'll trust you on this one. But you know, it gets touch and go. I have neighbors who have lost their insurance. So this is a real situation. What if there's a major earthquake in a populated area? Let's say a major earthquake. Let's say Hayward Fault just absolutely goes bananas and gets a 9.0 on it. Could you evacuate the Bay Area? Now stop and think about it. How many roads are there out of the Bay Area for 8 million people?
Looks like 6.
6 is the number. You can do the math as well as I can. It's not a good equation you come up with for math teachers in the audience. When you stop and think about it, could it work for you or could it not? Well, in my family, and my son and daughter live within a mile of where my wife and I live, we have the 10-minute rule. If there's a major earthquake, we're in our cars and we're heading out of town in 10 minutes, no questions asked. Don't even call us, go. Because you can always turn around and come back. But you could also get stuck and never get out of here. So our family has the 10-minute rule. And, you know, there's a little bit of gronking in the family about it, as you expect. You know, Dad, you're being you. That's life. That's what it's going to happen. That's sort of the responsibility of being parents at times. What if your electricity was off for 5 days? If you don't think that's real, just talk to any PG&E employee. Could you live in the wintertime without electricity or heat for 5 days? Could you live in the summer for 5 days without electricity? Well, from an environmental point of view, probably. The summer, yeah. Winter, my wife would not be real happy with that alternative, but that probably could be done. But stop and think about it when you look at some of the aspects here. The bigger PG&E substations are right along the Hayward Fault, built decades and decades ago, back in the 30s and 40s and 50s, before all the faults were realized. And one of the 2 entry points for all of the Bay Area is down here at the end of 101 and 85. That's a star at the bottom, and that's a huge, huge thing. The other one's up in Pittsburgh. So you start looking at the environment, it's a little more fragile than we might think it to be, and that's why it pays to be prepared. Let's see. Oh, let's go this way. So when we're talking about not having electricity, we're talking about primarily comfort. You don't have electricity with any of these other things. You can't buy anything because we all use credit today. You can't get medicine from drugstores because everything's done electronically. You can't get gasoline because it needs pumps to get it out of the tanks. You can't get electricity for your car, which now is a very expensive boat anchor, if it's an EV. And the grocery stores will probably lose all of their inventory as quickly as people can get it. You see, I'm trying to build a case here to think about maybe making a little cash in your house. You know, not a lot, but just some stuff that you might be able to, you know, live for a few days if you had to. I'm not saying it has to be fancy. You don't have to go out and buy very expensive, disaster packs and all this stuff. I mean, in our house, we have a part of a closet, a pantry closet that is just a shelf for this. That's all. It has things that are very shelf stable. Beans, tuna fish, things like that. High protein. It has shelf lives measured in years, and that's the kind of stuff we find there. I try to sneak some good things like Fritos on there once in a while, and my wife finds it. There we go. So the real question is there need to be prepared? Well, stop and think about it. We have a school administrator back here. You're responsible for lots of kids. How can the parents or grandparents get to the kids? How do all the kids know where their parents or grandparents are in case of an emergency? I mean, schools present a very interesting problem, and I don't mean to pick on schools, but bear with me. If there's a earthquake, the schools know what to do. It's very simple. But if there is a fire coming down the hill at a school, schools are not ready to evacuate 4, 5, 6, 700 kids, depending on the size of the school. All sorts of things that start falling in line here that can cause all sorts of trouble. So the question is, would you consider being prepared? And I would hope you'd say yes. And if you look at it, this is a government document. You can see FEMA's in the top left corner, and I've highlighted some of the main items. But basically the government says, it's on you. Pay me in the next 2 days your taxes, but this is on you. And it really is. Now, I work for the city, pardon me. I worked for IBM for 35 years. I volunteer for the city of San Jose, which is nice because nobody can tell me what to do. Very nice to walk down there. There are all sorts of problems, and I'll just go, good, yeah, I think I'm going to go home. Very, very nice environment. But when you look at these sorts of things, it becomes important because the more you can prepare, the better you will be when things go wrong. And we'll talk about how the Community Emergency Response Team impacts that. If you look at the resources we have in the city, we have a fair number of good resources, but we're short-staffed for a city this size. You take another million-person city like, I don't know, Houston or something like that, they have double the number of these resources. It's just the environment we're in. What we recommend is that you have at least 4 different types of first aid kits. Why first aid? Because in a disaster, that's probably going to be the first thing you'll come across more than anything else. It can be simple ones like this. This is a type of first aid kit you might have in your car or, in your car or in your office or something like that. Not very fancy. I mean, they're available on Amazon or anywhere else you wanted to buy them, but I don't like them because they don't have in here what I want. They have what someone else thinks I want, but it's all relative. Oh, a quick story on that. During COVID, we all couldn't do a lot of things. I got bored. So I built first aid kits for everybody's car in the family, which was 6 cars. Son and daughter each have 2 cars, we have 2 cars. So I built 6 first aid kits. They're very different for the boys versus the girls. And, so they have individual ones. I still have mine out in the car, and every 3 years we take it apart, take all the stuff that has expired out, put new stuff in, and away we go. So it's just one of the ideas that we came up with in our family. We talk about the multi-day Bob. That's a bug-out bag. Yes, sir?
You just answered the question. Thank you.
Okay. I knew you were going to ask that question, Ty. The multi-day bug-out Bob says, what do I need if I'm going to be tied up for some period of time? And you can go from a little to a lot. Now, in my house, we have all this in the garage, in bins, ready to go. So if we had to, we'd go out in the garage, load the back of the car, turn it on, and back out. It's all there, with the exception of the food. Everything else is right there, and the food's right next to the garage. Some of these things are not obvious. One is cash. Have you noticed how the ATMs want to give you big bills now, not little bills? Do you know how much a $1 jar of peanut butter costs in a disaster if you only have a $20 bill? Just got a price tag of 20 bucks on it. So it just pays to have the foresight to say, let's have some small things. So we have in our bin $200 in little bills. Is it a big investment? Not really, but it just gets us further along if we need to do something. The other thing that becomes very interesting here is water. You can't live without water. That's number one. There are different ways of handling water. Let me give you an example. Many people are concerned about storing water in plastic bottles for any length of time. There's aluminum available in stores right now. Expensive, but aluminum. No expiration date on it whatsoever. So conceivably, years for something like that. The other thing I really believe in is something called a life straw. It looks not quite sure what it is, but basically you take the top off, the bottom off, and you can suck water about anywhere you can imagine. You have dirty water, you can use this. You have it floats them in it. You can have, just junk. You can drink it with this. I've done it camping up in the Sierras. They're easy. They're cheap. They're relatively cheap. By the way, there are knockoffs. I would suggest if you're going to do it, and I'm not a paid representative of the company or anything like that, to get the Life Straw brand, because it is really superior, but there are cheaper knockoffs. Again, is this a big investment? No, you throw it in a bag and you never think about it. Shelf life, forever. But it's a way to get water, because water is number one. And you can take my approach on food, which says I can go for weeks with no food, but I need my water. Oh, come on now. When you look at, I guess I went the wrong way. Let's go this way. It's like with so many things in life, the hardest thing is the first step. How do I take that first step? Well, I have something for you. Could someone, Ty, could you help me hand this out or someone? Sure. Should be enough, sir.
How much do I charge?
Whatever you get. Miss America. What this is a 24-week list of things you might get at the supermarket. Doesn't say you have to, and in many cases you might have it in your house already. But use this as a way just to stimulate your interest in maybe doing something and getting some of the supplies put aside. And when you look at it, don't forget the back side, because it talks about animals. Because California now has a new law that says if you bring a pet to a shelter, you have to be allowed in. So that's a brand new law that it passed last year. So animals become very important, and they need water as much as anybody else. Any questions on that? Pardon me? Good, thank you. So what is needed to live for 72 hours? We've talked about a lot of it already, but in reality, in emergency management, we plan that you're probably not going to have much for 72 hours after a major incident. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
72 hours, that's 3 days. That's 3 days without potentially police or fire there. 3 days. So do you have the food? Do you have the water? Do you have the supplies? Can you help yourself, or can you help your neighbor? Now it's interesting, where I live, I have, my wife and I moved to a nearby neighborhood 6 years ago. And I always believe in getting to know our neighbors. And in doing so, we learned some of our neighbors have problems. We have a lady next door whose husband died during COVID, and she has a 44-year-old son with Tourette's syndrome. she's going to need a lot of help during a disaster. And I've told her, get away from the front door, I'm coming through. And she said, good, the door will be open for you. It's that sort of things that you start thinking about as you become more involved in the community and helping your neighbors, helping other neighbors. All these things are the sort of stuff you would imagine, but again, some of those items are more. I'm having a hard time with this today, but let me do it the right way. One of the things that came out during the Paradise Fire and the Palisades Fire and the Eaton Fire is people don't have identification. They left purses behind. They left identification behind. So much of this today is now up in the cloud, so it's not as much of a worry as it is. But like wills and death certificates of family members and things like that that are not in the cloud that you might want to have it ready to go. I have a set of my filing cabinet right at the front. I can pick it up and I'm out of there. There's no question about it. Simple, these aren't, we're not talking about flying to the moon or around the moon like the Artemis II mission just did. We're talking about very simple things. And the other thing is people are concerned about where they store stuff, and what we do is we store it on the little thumb drives, but we encrypt it. So in a thumb drive, which is in a box, has all of our data in it. Done. Very simple solution. What are we doing here, folks? There we go. These are some other grab-and-go items. Those of us who are a little more seasoned than others probably take medicine, some medicine, a lot of medicine, huge amounts of medicine. Do you keep your medicine all in one place? Yeah, you know, opposites attract. My medicine's organized. Someone else in my household's medicine is not organized, but we won't say who she is. But when it gets time to boogie out, I can grab mine and go very quickly. She has to go to 3 locations. Not saying it's right or wrong, just saying you look at things like that. The other thing is, if you notice, the last thing on this list is family memorabilia. And in reality, most people go first to that. And that's fine, but when you look at the other things you might need to support you during your life, or as you look at the people in LA. I mean, where are we now? We're a year, almost a year and 4 months into after the fires down there. They're just starting to rebuild. Do you know how long they expect it will take to rebuild Palisades in the Eaton area? Well, that's probably too long, but any idea, any guesses on dates? Come on, guys.
10 years.
10 years? Okay, any other things? Do I hear more? Do I hear more?
15. When they finish high-speed rail.
Yeah, right. The estimate right now is about 20 years. So without a lot of this information, it'd be very hard to live for that long and rebuild your life. So think of these things. I mean, we have this next to the doors in all of our houses, our 3 houses. So if you have to think about it in the middle of the night, you don't think you grab the piece of paper and you go down the list. Again, this is not rocket science. We have a family plan, as you can tell. We've talked about the 10-minute rule. We talked about having supplies. One other thing we do, if there's a disaster, we have a family member in Atlanta, Georgia that we all call. Because I'll promise you, you'll be able to call outside the Bay Area much easier than you'll be able to call inside the Bay Area. So just a tip. And you'll be able to text, always easier than a call, because a text takes up a very little bit of bandwidth. A phone call takes up quite a bit more. So little trips like this that can make a difference in a disaster. And the other trick is always have half a tank of gas. Because in a half a tank of gas, I got probably 150 miles, which gets me to Los Banos or San Luis Obispo. Places like that, I can get out of here. People who like to run their tank down to the bottom and then spend $60, $75 to fill it up because, you know, they don't like going to the gas station, they're going to have a problem, especially if the electricity goes out. Again, simple things. We're not talking about anything, we're not trying to develop anything unique here. The other thing is have a list of current medications. Now, at least in my case, the meds change every once in a while, so you have, there's a little bit of work keeping the list up. And I can't tell you how many times I go to a doctor and I give them a list that has all my medicines on it, and they go, oh, you're not going to be the guy who says, I take that little blue pill and that oblong yellow one. Have the list. Have it ready. Just go with it at all times. I have it on my phone, so it's always with me. The last thing is, if you need help, Santa Clara County has a good site called Prepare Santa Clara County. But the most important thing is you have, during a disaster, one of the challenges is getting information. Now, we're all social media hounds in today's world. I mean, it's interesting how it's gone from, radio to television and the dial telephone and, all the things we're now all focused on a little screen. What happens with no electricity? What happens when the internet's down? How many people have portable radios here? Old-fashioned portable radios. I see 3 hands, 4 hands. By the way, you all have a portable radio? It's in your car. You got to think outside the box. Because in a disaster, you might not have a sophisticated solar-powered radio that I can get AM, FM, and the weather bands, but I do have a radio in my car that's on a big battery if all I'm doing is listening to the radio for short periods of time. So part of being ready for disaster preparedness is thinking, but also thinking outside the box at times. Flashlights are good. We have them scattered all over our house. Oh, one of the things that happens in earthquakes is windows break, if you're near the epicenter. If you don't have double pane windows and all those things. What's the one thing people don't have next to their bed? Shoes, slippers, something. Window breaks, you have to get through all the glass to get to where you're going, and you just became a victim. So you need to think about things like that too. This drives me crazy. You probably all have seen these lights. You probably have a bunch of them like that. They sell them with all sorts of different things, but when you stop and think about it, there's only one type you want to buy, and that's the type that has old-fashioned batteries, not rechargeable. Let's stop and think about what's wrong with a rechargeable battery with no electricity. We're not talking rocket scientists here. We're talking just some very basic things, decisions you make. So those are some of the things that we'll run into. During a disaster, information, we talked about radios. If television is working, there are a couple of stations in San Francisco that are prepared to be offline. They have their own generators and that sort of things. But the other one is signing up for CERT training. Now, what's CERT? That's the Community Emergency Response Team. We have 1,750 people trained in the city of San Jose right now. We have a mayor, about that tall, who wants 10,000. And he sees it as resilience. He sees it as getting the community and people comfortable with what might happen and how to handle it when it does happen. So CERT training is very simple. It's paid for by the city. It's 20 hours in duration, 12 hours of class and 8 hours of hands-on where you actually learn things like, well, let me ask a question. How many people here have used a fire extinguisher on a real fire? We got a couple. Okay, how many would feel comfortable doing a fire extinguisher on a real fire if you hadn't thought about it? Okay, so, it's that gets that thing. How many of you would use a fire blanket? Have you thought about the size of fire a fire blanket is good for, and what a size of fire a fire blanket is not good for? That's the kind of stuff we go through with these things. Anybody can take it. We've had people in their mid-80s take the class and do quite well. I mean, it's not, we've had people with all sorts of access and functional needs that have taken the class, and we will accommodate everything we can. It's CERT training. You can find it on the San Jose website. I normally have handouts, but I thought someone else was going to address it tonight, but I can get stuff to Mike. But it's a very important thing. And it's something that you can use all the time. By the way, we have probably 400 CERT organizations in the state of California, and nationwide it's in the tens of thousands. So it's something that's transferable. One of the things I do as a volunteer for the city is manage the data of the people. And it's amazing, people be moving in here from, Des Moines, Iowa, and they say, I'm CERT trained. Well, I say, show me your certificate and we'll get you on board. So it is a nationwide sort of program in that respect. One thing I might offer, Ty, can I impose upon you again, sir?
More paper? Oh, boy.
Well, the other option was handing everybody a notepad or something, but this is a home readiness checklist, and you might want to just add this to your list of things you might want to look at sometime in the future. The whole idea, again, is very simple. Things I should think about, things I can do, things that I can make things better with. Again, all I'm trying to do here today is to give you ideas and suggestions that might benefit you as you do other things. If we can help, and again, not picking on school districts, but if we can help with meetings with teachers, we're available. I mean, our whole job is to help get the message out about being prepared. And that doesn't mean just people living in San Jose. That means being prepared anywhere, because this can happen anywhere, at any time. Here we go. So, in conclusion, you can't control disasters, but you can be ready for them. And I love this picture. I mean, this picture of the Bay Bridge just summarizes it so well. Well, what can happen that you don't expect it. So, I've enjoyed being here tonight. Do me a favor, think about some of this stuff. Just don't go, I got through the meeting, I'm good. Yeah. Take a few minutes, sit down, think about it. Think about how it might impact your family, your loved ones. Think about your kids, in our case, grandkids. I mean, I have one grandson at the Air Force Academy. I'm not worried about him. They'll take care of him over there real well. But I got other ones that are still in local schools or in nearby colleges that we'd have to think about. So, okay, let me ask, are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you. Not really a question, but a comment. I want to hover over your appeal for CERT training. One of the roles that I have is with the United Neighborhoods of Santa Clara County, and we are the physical agent on behalf of the city of San Jose, pouring about $15,000 into District 8's CERT team to buy emergency radios and to buy headquarters for materials so that in the event of an emergency, they can deploy really effectively throughout District 8. And you mentioned Mayor Mahan's interest in replicating that process across all 10 districts. So it's something I think that really think seriously about getting that training.
Thank you for the comment. I can't encourage you the most to do it. I mean, you all know where Half Moon Bay is, right? It's over there. It's a sleepy little community on the coast. I was over there to see their CERT training program, to see how they do it. I mean, the problem I'm finding, in a big city, they think they know everything. Well, I like to look around and get other viewpoints of what's going on and how other people do it. So they were doing their briefing at the beginning of the meeting. They said, well, if there's any problems, if there's an earthquake, we do this. And we're in a fire station while we're having this meeting. And if you do this, and if there's a tsunami, and boy, that caught my attention. Because we don't have tsunamis here. Other questions? Well, if that's the case, I will turn it back over to you. Thank you very much for your patience. Now, one last thing, if you'd come up here, Linda. I grew up in an era where my mother basically told us that if somebody invites you to go somewhere, you need to bring the host or hostess a small gift. I mean, that's the way I was raised. But I was born in Oakland, so I'm local in that sense. So what I'd like to give you, Linda, is an emergency gas shutoff tool, just to say thank you very much for the opportunity for being here.
I wrote notes on the back of my agenda. I forgot batteries. I was going to go to the grocery store. I did go to the grocery store, but I forgot batteries. Oh my gosh, we need batteries in the house, of course. So that was great. That's a lot of things to think about. All right. So elected officials, we will go on to that. If we have time. We can still question him some more before we leave. Assemblymember Lee, Tim, do you have something to report?
Yes.
Of course, he always does.
Always here, most of the time.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. So, let's see, I have 2 announcements, and I want to present 4 bills to you that the Assembly member has introduced. So, 2 announcements, maybe 3. We will be at the Viva Calle. You all know about that. I see some flyers posted. So it's going to be right in our neighborhood here at Cimarron Park. There are 3 hubs. They call them hubs. So from Mount Pleasant, the Mexican Heritage Plaza, and Cimarron Park. So we'll be at Cimarron Park. If you want to stop by, come check out, come say hi. That's from 10 to 3. Or better yet, you'll be riding your bicycle, right, from the Bicycle Coalition here, Barbara. So she'll want you to be riding your bike. And then the Berryessa Art Festival, we'll have a booth there. Assemblymember Lee will on the 9th. And he gave a small donation, so we'll make sure that happens. And then we have an Unsung Heroes event, which we do every year. 24 people will be recognized. It will be at the Fremont event, downtown event center. Sorry, guys, it's going to be up there. I'm going to make them move it next year to Berryessa, but it will be up there. So there's some good folks from Milpitas and Berryessa that will be honored. And then, we're in the middle of the legislative process. It's April, so kind of like a little, I shouldn't say it, it's mundane, but it's kind of a tedious process. Important work, don't get me wrong. The bills that are being introduced are important to families and here in the state of California, but still you have to go through the process. So just a few bills I'll announce. One is that the Assembly member has introduced student religious observances, right? I think I mentioned that one time before, but this would allow excuse, that's the key, school absences for students observing religious holidays and ceremonies without being subject to the school administrator's approval. How nice, right? So you'll be able, if you're a student, you can take off for a religious holiday, right? And still get credit and still be able to have all your homework and all of that assigned to you. So that's important. So that's an easy one. That was brought to us by the Jewish Public Affairs Committee of California. And then there's a bill, no tax breaks for ICE contractors Act. So this is no tax breaks for ICE contractors. Ty is getting a kick out of this one. AB 1675 will ensure that California does not spend taxpayer dollars to bankroll corporations profiting off ICE's blatant violations of constitutional rights and indiscriminate use of violence, which we have seen. Assemblymember Lee's bill, the No Tax Breaks for ICE Contractors Act, will ensure taxpayer dollars are not enriching corporations that aid and abet ICE's campaign of terror. So that might be a little controversial to some, but it's important because we all know what happened recently, and we know that Kristi Noem's no longer there, and so anyway, no tax breaks, California tax breaks for corporations that work with ICE. And then we have a state worker telework policy, AB 1729. This is a bill for state workers, and essentially it's going to mandate that state agencies and departments they're required to produce written justification on their needs for telework. So, the governor had said, come back to work, and there were some that said, well, tell us why we have to come back to the office. And so this will require a justification so that if maybe you can work a day or two from home, the agencies and departments are going to have to now justify it, right? If there's a need, operational need for telework. So that's a telework policy that deals with state employees only. And then finally, there's a bill that called the California Healthy Food Financing Initiative. And this bill will bolster investments in food aid and ensure a comprehensive, coordinated strategy to reduce hunger. Basically, the bill is going to create a dedicated fund in the state treasury to leverage public, private, and philanthropic dollars for expanding health food access. So it'll just be a little a fund in the state treasury that will ensure that no one goes hungry in this state. All right, so those are 4 bills, and there's plenty more. Single stairwell, I'm not going to mention it, Dick, yet, but I'll mention it at the next the next meeting, the single stairwell bill. All right, that's it for me. Thank you.
You always have lots of information for us. We appreciate that. Thank you for always being here. Councilman Cohen, do you want to say a few words? Thank you for coming tonight.
I don't have a lot this month. I will just say in 2 weeks is Earth Day, and 4 years ago on Earth Day in 2022, I started an initiative to plant 1,000 trees in District 4 over 1,000 days. We achieved that goal and passed it, but on Earth Day in 2 weeks, we're going to do a little ceremonial tree planting right out back here, planting 3 or 4 trees in the park and marking one with a little remembrance that we planted 1,000 trees, but we're not stopping at 1,000. We're continuing to plant more in District 4. And then the only other big thing we're focused on is the Art and Wine Festival, May 9th. You all know about it. I don't have to tell you, but be here on May 9th. It's going to be great, as always, and we're really looking forward to seeing you. Oh, Earth Day tree planting is at 9 a.m. on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Can the public get free trees?
Yeah, so I raised, as part of my initiative, I got donations of money that we then gave to our city forest, which funds everybody in the district who wants a street tree can get a free street tree from our city forest, and we have an account there that will be credited for the purchase of those trees. So if you want one, order one, or let us know and we'll help you do that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Santa Clara Valley Water Districts, Richard Santos. We got lots of rain, just for you.
Good evening. Richard Santos, your Vice Chair of Valley Water. A typical remark was, we have a lot of rain. Not true. It was April showers. It's good, but we're in an arid area and we need a lot more water. We have 10 reservoirs, seismic conditions, we can go on and on. But you got to make California a water conservation way of life, and that's the way it is. Live with the restrictions. We have a rebate program, 22 rebates for homeowners. Come and take advantage of it. But I do want to reach out to this gentleman right here, Lee, who's a volunteer. And that was a 4-star presentation. And just a few months ago, the Water District, we gave it to everybody. This is about emergency during floods. And this relates to all the potential, earthquakes, fires. And if you remember, just 4 months ago, we had a major fire up here. And I remember the neighbors calling me, what should we do? Should we leave? I said, do you have your emergency bags? Do you have your stuff ready? Have you have your medication? Think, be prepared. And that's what it's all about. Just recently on Penitencia over to White Road, we had a bunch of infrastructure being done of water supply line and so on. So if you saw that, that was about. People called, a lot of work. I do have we're continuing after water. We got the Sites Reservoir over in Colusa County. We got the Sisk over here in St. Louis Dam. We're always looking for water, making deals all the time, because we're never going to have enough. I don't care whether I'm here or not. Don't let anybody tell you. There's 2 million people, and droughts continue coming. That's a historic situation, and they're going to be here. But we're up for the challenge. And just about this thing, just recently on Easter Sunday, the Saturday before, PG&E said, we're going to close your electricity off 9 to 5. Well, that was for Easter Sunday. Guess what it was? 9 to 1. What did people do that day? Cooking for their families. Did they reimburse us? No, they gave their CEO a raise of $14 million. It never stops, folks. That's why you gotta vote. You gotta vote. So here's some questions, some gifts I have here. This is...
I knew there was going to be a test.
If you pass my test, I'll give you some gifts. I'm in a good mood to give some gifts. So here's the plastic water bucket. Good? She knows it. Name me the biggest river in Santa Clara County.
Coyote Creek.
Coyote? That's correct.
Whoa. It's the only one I know.
Now here's the little bag of goodies. Water faucet and so on, some goodies here. So who's your favorite director in the water district? That lady right there. This is for you right here. And like you said, these are important. These keep you forever. What's the closest water treatment plant in Berryessa? What's the name of it? Somebody, not all at once. Penitencia? Did you say Penitencia? This is yours. And not the last one, but if you want to take a 5-minute shower, how many members on the San Jose City Council?
Including the mayor. 10.
How many members on the City Council?
11.
You got it. There it is. And Susan Fowles, this is for you, this bag, because we're having an event. Would you give? We're going to have it at the Bob Gross Ponds. What's the date? I want everybody to come out. It's important. Any questions? See me after. Thank you. That's for David. And
Thank you very much, Richard. Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good job.
That's why we always invite him, because he gives us prizes. All right. Berryessa Union School District Superintendent Fuentes. Oh, I didn't say your last name. Dr. Fuentes.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Just a few things of celebration that I want to share tonight. So the first thing is just this past month, the state of California recognized all of the secondary schools for California Distinguished School. There were about, I think, 460 schools out of California's thousands of middle schools and high schools, and we're really proud to share that Piedmont Middle School was selected this year as a California Distinguished School. So big congratulations to their whole school community, because it really is an effort between the teachers, the support staff, the parents at home working with their children. And so they will be recognized next Friday down in Southern California, and they'll receive their award from the state superintendent, so we're really excited about that. In addition, we have 4 schools this year that are celebrating their 50th anniversary in Berryessa community. And so I wanted to be sure to share all of that, so if any of you are alumni of these schools or have children that went to these schools, they're having special celebration events that are open community-wide. So Summerdale already had theirs 2 weeks ago, but we have 3 more schools coming up. So we have Brooktree Elementary, Majestic Way, and Vincy Park. So the next event will be at Vincy Park. That's going to be on April 28th. That's going to be from 5 to 7 p.m. So theirs is going back to their birth in '76. It's a 70s theme, so come decked out. And then on May 1st, Majestic Way will be doing a rodeo celebration, and that will be from 3 to 5 in the afternoon. And on that same day, Brooktree will be having their celebration in the evening combined with their multicultural event, and that'll be from 5:30 to 7:30. So again, please come on out. These are known as our pod schools. We call them the pod schools because they're very unique 70s architectural design. But back in the day when there was like the open classrooms, the open settings, that's how they continue to be, and so lots of really unique circumstances with that. But there'll be good food, music, opportunity to celebrate. The schools do a great job of bringing out all the yearbooks from year 1 to now. So when we were at Summerdale's event, it was really fun to see some of our neighbors find their children, find their grandchildren in all the different yearbooks. So it's really cool. So please come out and celebrate. It's a lot of good cheer. And then finally, again, just want to thank the Berryessa Art Festival Committee for all of their hard work. We hope that all of you do come out on May 9th to celebrate. The proceeds come back to our school district. This year, the committee came out and gave out several scholarships to our teachers for special projects and field trip opportunities for our students. So we appreciate everyone's generosity. So look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Okay. Eastside High School District, is Lorena here tonight? No, not here. I didn't think I saw her. And Lilia Hancock, I didn't see her tonight either. Okay. I'm going to go to the announcements. Mike, do you want to say a few more words? You've already heard a few.
I was going to mention that...
Yep, hello, hello.
I was just going to mention that this weekend, Saturday, is the 2026 American Litter Pickup. Penitencia Neighborhood Association is going to have a staging right on the south side of Penitencia Creek Park, where we'll have a tent and refreshments and all the supplies that people need in order to walk through the park, and we're going to be cleaning up along Penitencia Creek Road there. So that was the only announcement that I have at this time.
Do you want to say anything more about the art festival?
Oh, the art festival, it's fantastic. We have a wonderful opportunity for a art festival here, and I commend the people that are on that board that are doing so much in order to orchestrate. Never have we asked so much of so few for so many, okay? But there turns out there's going to be entertainment. We're going to have the Berryessa Union School District Elementary and the middle schools there, St. Victor's Choir. Going to have the dignitaries introduce themselves, and then we're going to have Ron Scott, who is a keyboard player that's played with was it Santana, and he's also played with the Doobie Brothers. So he's a pretty talented individual, and
After that would be Hoot Nanny, which is a country western group that's going to entertain, and we have Eric Pendleton that is going to close us out from 4 to 5 here. So thank you very much, Eric Band, I guess. Maybe about 120, have about 120 booths and artists. We have the East Valley Artist Group that is going to be engaged with this, and I have to say big thanks to Lisa with her effort that you're doing here with the Berryessa Community Center to support the festival also. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Our next general membership meeting is May 11th, and we are going to have a candidates forum for the 3 candidates that are running for assembly for our area here. Okay, so that'll be next month, May 11th. And then BCAC has their regular board meeting next Monday, the 20th, at 6:30 at the school district office where we usually meet. Okay? Now, you are going to, what? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Could you thank Tim?
Oh, well, we did. We were eating his cookies. Thank you, Tim. He brought cookies tonight. Yay. Okay, thank you.
Linda, I just also wanted to say, I wanted to thank all the people that have contributed. David Cohen has contributed significantly to the Berryessa Art and Wine Festival, along with some other sponsors out there. So thank you very much for that contribution and knowledge leading.
BCAC also made a contribution also. Yes. Just so you know. Okay. We have about 10 minutes before we have to be out of here, so we'd like you to have some cookies, some coffee, there's some water, and Mr. Steckmest is still here. You might want to ask him some questions. Thank you for all coming tonight.